Welcome back to Southwest Trail Hunter. Today, we're back in the Ruidoso Downs area on another Hale Road adventure. I previously did a video of me just wandering around and exploring this area. So if you're interested in seeing some of what this area has to offer, go check out my Hale Road adventure in my Full Trails playlists. And as always, if you want to come out here and explore for yourself, there's a link to the map in the description. Now let me give you some context for this particular adventure. At the time, I was working the graveyard shift, so our off-roading adventures on my days off usually didn't start until early afternoon. So when we drove up here, the adventure started off looking like this. But quickly we found ourselves navigating the terrain in pretty much a stock Jeep, like this. Now this was fun, but also added a bit of suspense to the journey. As you can see, with the stock lights, you're only able to see about 10 to 20 feet in front of you. You really can't see anything off to the sides or behind you. It's like driving with tunnel vision. In fact, this trip is what inspired me to add some external lighting to the truck. There was a particular hill on this trip that I remember very well, and I always wanted to go back and drive it during the day. Off of Hale Road, about 30 minutes in, out in the middle of nowhere, you'll find a random water tank. The hill that I'm talking about is just past the water tank, from here to here. Let's go check it out. As you can see, the sun is setting and we're already driving with the lights on. It's the time of the day where the sun has met the horizon and is slowly disappearing. The light that's being given off is just enough to see your surroundings, but not quite enough to see the details. And as we pass the water tank, you can see the moon up there shining brightly in the sky. The trail here at the top of the hill is fairly level. Not much more than a dirt road, and doesn't present any challenge. But as we turn the second corner, the trail starts to get rocky, and it starts to get fairly steep as it descends into the canyon. What little light we had is all but gone, and the light from my headlights start to cast long shadows behind the stones on the trail. This tricks the brain into thinking the trail is rougher than it is. We take the descent slow, because we've never been out here before, and we don't know what to expect. And as the sun continues to set, the trees become nothing more than silhouettes in the background as we continue our adventure to see where the trail will lead. So far on the map, we've only made it to about right here. And as you can tell, it appears we've leveled off. At this point, we are still going down, but it is a fairly shallow grade. At the end of this 30-second stretch, a fairly tame trail, is a slight right, and then the real fun begins. Let's watch. As we come around this final corner, you'll notice that the divots in the trail start to get a little deeper, and the shadows cast start to look a little darker, and the stones start to get a little larger. The grade begins to increase, and the descent gets just a little bit steeper. As we continue the journey down, we begin to see larger rocks in the road, accompanied by dark shadows, giving the appearance of deep divots. Unsure of exactly what I'm looking at, I attempt to take the obstacle at an angle to give myself the most clearance. At this point, the only modification I'd made to my Jeep was upgrading the 31-inch tires to 33 inches. With the lights and the shadows playing tricks with my eyes, I wanted to ensure as much clearance as I could get. And as I finished maneuvering that first set of obstacles, I come across this dark, deep shadow in the middle of the road with no room to go around. So I creep up to it and I take it down slow. It was probably a good 10-inch drop. Nothing I would have been concerned about if it were daytime. But when you get those dark shadows and your eyes start to play tricks on you, you really can't tell how deep those dips are. But we made it down, and this is the bottom of the hill. We went on to have more nighttime adventure, and at one point we ended up losing the trail on the side of a hill with no way forward and not enough room to turn around. But we got out of that as well, and we tried to find a way through further down the trail, but finally decided that we needed to start heading home, and going back up this hill was our best choice. Obviously, it is much darker at this point. The headlights are literally the only source of light out here, and as you can see, the light reflects off the trail, making it that much harder to see what you're doing. This was my first experience off-roading in the dark. Now I know there are rock crawlers out there who do night runs, and my hat's off to them. But they also use a lot more light than what we had here, and typically they go with a group. But I do remember this being a thrilling experience for me. As I said at the beginning of the video, there's a certain amount of suspense that goes along with off-roading at night because you do not know what's coming up. Even if you do know what's coming up, it's suspenseful because you can't really see it coming. It's hard to see, but in the middle of the screen is that 10-inch drop that I now have to get back up. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. Like going down, I just took it slow. There was a little tire slippage, but we made it up as well. Anyways, the moral of the story, if there is a moral to be had, is if you haven't done a night run, I encourage you to try it. Pick an easy trail, possibly one you're familiar with, grab your off-roading buddies, and go have a blast. It is a different experience, and I think you should try it at least once. But hey, I'm going to wrap it up here and let you watch the rest of the ascent in peace. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for all the off-roading adventures. Enjoy!